grows, anything goes. Devil is a lie, looking for the prize. That's eternal life, and bringing the things in my mind. I'm talking real peace of mind. That's something money can't buy.
What's up, YouTube fam? It's your boy KingMarcell, and we back with another video. Today we about to check out a video by the channel Anonymous Official. They did a story about the guy who tried to assassinate President Trump. So we about to check this out and see, you know what I'm saying, what new information has been found out about the shooter. Again, this whole situation is crazy. And it's crazy too, like I don't know, this has been hell of a crazy week. Like that shit happened, the shit going on with Drake and shit. The here in the Midwest, we just got hit with like fucking 5 tornadoes and shit in one night. It's like, what the fuck? Like things are really starting to transition into a whole different zone. And it's like, man, I just pray with especially this situation, people keep a cool head instead of just totally losing their mind. But hey, people gonna be people at the end of the day, so you know what I'm saying, we gonna end up seeing. Make sure you guys like this video, hit that subscribe button, and hit that notification bell so that you're notified whenever I do drop a video here. We on the road to 100 subscribers. We are so close, so make sure you guys hit that subscribe button, you know what I'm saying, so we can hit the next goal, which is 500 subscribers. But hit that comment section up too, and let me know what you guys want me to react to here on the channel as well. And let's get at least 20 likes here on this video, you know what I'm saying. I know I haven't said anything about liking the videos like that much, but man, let's try to hit markers with that too. Let's get 20 likes. But without further ado, let's get into this shit, man.
I go to Stanford University. I have a 10-inch and it's for 4.
You also recorded some video. As we see now, the suspect's van was parked right in your street, and they all kind of had it closed off, Martha, because they didn't want people from the rally to park on your street. So then you knew this guy's car wasn't supposed to be there. Walk me through what you saw.
So I came home a little bit before 5, saw it parked there. Didn't really think too much of it. It was the only spot in the whole yard or the whole road that wasn't blocked off. So later on in the night, everything happened, and we got home, and we were sitting there and saw cops all lined on the street. So whenever we looked out, we walked outside and saw them opening up his vehicle and everything. When the cop opened it, everybody else jumped back and was trying to stay out of the way. Here I am worried about it blowing up or whatever's going on. So
I mean, to find out that this happens and the former president gets nearly right in the head, almost it across the street from your house, and then to find out that the gunman's car was possibly parked right in front of your house. How many cops are we talking about that were out there surrounding this van, and was there a license plate on the back of that van?
There was probably 5 to 10 cars out there, and there was an Arizona plate on the van. And
so was he from Arizona?
Probably 15 cops altogether, all outside of the van. And then, like I said, whenever the one opened up the door, the rest of them all jumped back trying to stay out of the way.
See, this the thing that's bothering me again about this situation is that I would think that if a president or an ex-president is going somewhere and is about to give a speech specifically, that they would do a sweep of the area and have the area watched a week in advance at least. That's at least. I would want it to be damn near 3 weeks if it was me or somebody I hold dear or somebody that important. Excuse me. At least 3 weeks in advance. It should be watched to make sure that no one has the president's itinerary and is planning an assassination. Like a lot of this shit that's happened, I feel like it's like a lot of duh moments, because like what the fuck is really going on? I don't get why, you know what I'm saying, they not more alert. Like they saying that they came a week in advance. To me, that's not good enough. That's not good enough at all. It's like this whole shit just seem fishy as fuck. I'm not gonna lie. Welcome to the stream. Make sure you hit that follow button, man. But yeah,
no,
definitely.
I didn't have any classes with him. My only interactions with him were just seeing him in school, and then he was bullied, sat alone at lunch.
the reaction of this company?
Insane. I mean, this is where I live. I never thought this would be going on in a town that I've grew up in my whole life. Well, I was actually at Bethel Sheets last night. Bethel Park Sheets, the one right down the road. And we were just like, people were coming in and we just heard it, like people were talking about it, like, yo, this kid's from Bethel. Like, and that's how we all learned. Then we started seeing pictures online of him. And we were like, wow, this is insane.
Like he kind of stood out.
And it's like, I don't know, I feel like the picture, it's a picture that's trying to be painted that this kid is just some random kid, you know what I'm saying? He was a lone wolf. That's what's in the media. That's what they keep saying. He was a lone wolf. That when they get to saying that shit over and over again, I feel like it's so that we don't look deeper into it. A lot of people have been looking up and they found out, I don't know if you guys know about the company BlackRock, but BlackRock literally damn near owns every company in the world. It has the highest percentage in each company in the world. Why this kid was in a BlackRock commercial? There's the ties to the exact people that would want Trump out of office, to keep him out of office. And these connections aren't being looked at. It's just being, oh, it's a lone wolf. He just did it himself. And it's like, that's a tie. Now, again, the police can be investigating behind the scenes. They coming up to their own conclusion, this and that. But it's the media. The media is already trying to shape our perception of what happened. No, let's let this investigation happen first before we make a sound decision on, you know what I'm saying, how we gonna judge this situation.
That might have been worrying to you or might have rang any alarm bells?
I mean, yeah, but that's not something you want to think about. Like that, you don't want to have that first thought in your head, like, he's a little off. Is he gonna do something? Like, you don't, so it's kind of just pushed it to the back of your head.
Knock, knock.
Man,
Hi
this whole
there.
situation.
I'd love to show you what a K-12 powered school is really like.
Just because a lot of people have been saying that they wish something did happen to Trump, and that, like, I find that shit so weird. It's like, at the end of the day, God is meant to judge us, not each other. And it's like all of this shit is gonna come to light, man, sooner than later.
Donald Trump survived an assassin's bullet.
Yeah.
And now we're getting stunning new details about the security failures that allowed
definitely some security failures.
President. Fox is confirming that local police reported a suspicious man using a rangefinder 30 minutes before the that local officer even took a picture of him. And we're also, of course, seeing more of those videos of the crowds that spotted the gunman at least 1 minute and 26 seconds before he opened fire.
Wow.
Yet that assassin was still able to fire 8 rounds, just 130 yards from former President Donald Trump.
Fuck?
About a minute and a half of people screaming, warning law enforcement that someone's on the roof with a before anyone did anything. Take a look.
He's giving inside job. And I'm not saying that it's given that Trump staged this and all that stupid shit that I'm seeing people say online, because I feel like a lot of things that were damn near false flags and you couldn't see what happened, people didn't question those things. But we actually seen this on camera live as people there. We seeing it all. This the shit they want to question. It's just crazy how people's minds are working. For real.
What's happening? So there you go. You can see people warning law enforcement. Fox can confirm the FBI has interviewed more than 100 people, including the local law enforcement officer that saw Thomas Crooks armed on the roof, then retreated away from the scene. Harris, this morning, FBI agents were back on the scene looking at the AGR building where Crooks fired his. According to police, we previously reported that local law enforcement was in charge of securing that building, even staging in and around the building, but still missed him on the roof. They were inside the building. He was on the roof. We've confirmed a local police officer reported to Pennsylvania State Police there was a suspicious man at the Trump rally with what appeared to be a rangefinder, possibly binoculars, before the rally began. People reported to police on scene this suspicious person was near magnetometers, pacing around, asking questions, looking suspicious. Sources say that man turned out to be Crooks, who later the president in father Corey Compatore, injuring 2 others. Sources tell Fox this AGR building was outside the perimeter and again was the responsibility of the locals. Still, the Secret Service is under increasing pressure to explain how this could have happened.
They were supposed to be all over that
and we have to do
building.
something.
If we don't have anything that ties us together, when that day comes, and you know what I mean, when the economic crisis comes, because it's coming, like, what's that going to look like? It's going to be very scary.
The other is that there's a net benefit to them in destroying this country.
Our public obsessions are getting increasingly irrelevant, actually. Increasingly, it's like crazy.
You notice they never go after the people that cheated on the election. They go after the people that are looking at the people that cheated on the election. Think of it, right? It's a disgrace what's going on with our country. The radical left, Democrats rigged the presidential election in 2020, and we're not going to allow them to rig the presidential election in 2020.
This presidential election that we got is scary, man. Not gonna lie.
There's been a lot of complaining about this.
This one
is clearly a destructive trend that's people, particularly children, destabilizing society, and it doesn't make any sense. So it's making all of us irrational. But for some reason, nobody has taken the time to figure out who's profiting from this. And you've done what I think is a spectacular dive into this, an amazing overview.
People want to act like the deep state don't exist.
Elon
and all
Musk
that
issues
shit.
a profound plea for the preservation of society, urging leaders and citizens alike to prioritize the creation of future generations.
And I think that perhaps my biggest advice to leaders, to government leaders, and to the people in general would be to make sure to have children to create the new generation. And I think any incentives that can be done to incent the new generation, to make it easier for women to have children and to support the children, I think would be very wise.
So over the years, politicians have given us a number of policies. We've had the war on poverty, the war on terror. None worked, but at least cats not allowed to fly. But today, the Biden administration is giving us a new, call it the war on observable facts, or what?
Literally.
We have to be very tough, and we have to respect our law enforcement, and we have to give them
like with
back
that fact
authorization.
check shit. I feel like everything that gets fact checked, that shit is true. Literally, if it's fact checked, it's damn near true. That shit crazy. The times we living in, the
on our behalf. We have
manipulation.
to. One of the things that I'm very proud of, and this was given through strength, was some of the most conservative people wanted it, but a lot of liberals wanted it too. And Tim was one of the people that really was pressing, and his voice is very important to me. Justice reform. We got that done, and a lot of the African-American population has never forgotten that. Opportunity zones. Tim came to see me about that. He said, I have an idea, and it's an idea that we've tested and all, but the problem is nobody could get it through. He came to me. I loved it.
What does the majority of the country have in common with one another? Because look, if the arc of the last century's American history is super, super interesting. So you have this massive influx of immigration, the Ellis Island generation, late 18th, 19th, early 20th century. And it's both good and bad. We only remember the good, but there was a lot of social volatility, like a lot. Like the mayor of Chicago got his house. It was on Wall Street, like the Wobblies, the anarchists, like the foot soldiers that were immigrants, working class European immigrants. And part of the problem was there was a lot of immigrants, and I mean, Sacco and Vanzetti.
See, but that's the thing that I don't like when they be wanting to talk about what happened during that time is that, yeah, the so-called white people was immigrants too that came here. And what did all of y'all do? Y'all all stood on the backs of my people. And it's like, that's the part that like makes a lot of this stuff like I see the good that Trump has tried to do and all of that. But then it's like to the extent that, yeah, I would help y'all, but I would never totally rectify what was done to y'all. And that's what I don't, it's like, in order for all of these problems to go away, that's one of the problems that's going to have to be solved as well. Because it would never work then. All the evil has to be acknowledged. All the evil has to be expelled, destroyed. But if we don't rectify all the other situations, if we don't rectify everyone's situation, it's going to always be some type of form of turmoil. And it doesn't have to be. It genuinely doesn't have to be. But that's a conversation that, again, I hope cooler heads prevail and people start having these conversations with each other. Seriously.
You know, who the
before shit
clerk
hit the wall, for
is
real.
it Brockton, Mass? Anyway, it was in Mass, outside Boston. They'd been in the country for just a few years, and they immediately got sucked into radical politics. Well, why was that? Well, because they weren't kind of bought in or rooted in or hadn't been fully assimilated into American society. So then you have the First World War, and we basically shut down immigration, and we have this period of settling where, like, all Americans, let's think through our civic religion, what ties us together, and then that leads into October of 29, and you do have this national crisis that lasts for more than a decade, and we had a successful, you know, the CCC. We like had these big programs, which I'll say this as a conservative, kind of worked in keeping people fed and focused and gave them purpose, kept the country from collapsing during the Great Depression.
So, say for me, I think I am objectively one of the world's leading
and that's another
environmentalists.
thing. People need to understand that was during the time when the Federal Reserve was created, was during the Great Depression. But look at what the Fed is doing to us now. Like he just said that, oh, it helped during that time and it helped us get over that hump. That's not what happened totally. We handed over so much power back over to England because, again, I be trying to get you all to understand the financial system so y'all can get what's going on. Literally Google this. Is the Federal Reserve a part of the Bank of England? And it's going to tell you yes. It's going to tell you no, but they have a very interconnected relationship. But then when you get to read about that relationship, the Federal Reserve is the Bank of England. So if that's the Bank of England, but the Bank of England's finances is ruling the United States, wouldn't that mean that they're running here? Through the municipal towns and everywhere where a bank is? When y'all find out what a charter is, I promise y'all it's going to blow y'all mind, because the banks are run off of charters. What they deem, and this is all just terminology, but I want y'all to understand. A charter is like something with a boat, right? When a boat docks somewhere, you know what I'm saying, it has to have a charter. The main charters that they deal in is birth certificates. Look up if your birth certificate is a charter. All of the banks, the Federal Reserve, they're using all of our birth certificates as collateral. I'm not speaking nonsense. I'm not talking on my ass. Please do the research. That's why I'm saying a lot of this stuff be disingenuous, because it's like, it's still people at the heads who's talking to us who still want us oblivious to this shit. So that, yeah, they'll fight for them to not get fucked over as much as other people, but still so that the common people don't get up to a certain level. And with me, I'm going to share that information with everybody. This is going up on YouTube. This information has to go out, because if it doesn't, we will never truly be free. None of us.
In terms of doing things,
I see so.
Like I'm an environmentalist who does things. I'm of action, not talk.
Authenticate your birth certificates.
So I feel I can say,
look up authentication of your birth certificates.
That the environmentalist movement has gone too far. And in that, in the natural extension of the environmentalist movement, if you go too far, you start to look at humanity as a bad thing. You start to look at humanity as though we are a plague on the surface of the earth, as though humanity is a bad thing. And in fact, there are some people who think and say explicitly that, in fact, there was on the front page of the New York Times, there was a guy who said, there are 8 billion people on Earth. It would be better if there were none, which is crazy.
We're experiencing a major shift in our population and culture. New research shows 50 million people who live in this country right now weren't born here. They came here. Millions of them illegally. And it exploded under Joe Biden. Look at this. We've always been a nation of immigrants, but never like this. In 1970, only 10 million immigrants lived in America. Today, it's 5 times that number. Come to America and vote blue. And they're streamlining it. That's what
when white people say that, but it was never like this. Well, how did y'all get here? At least these people came here and they trying to get jobs and shit, and yeah, they bring in some crime, but y'all literally came over here like totally eliminating, wiping like an eraser. Y'all erase motherfucking tribes and families off the face of this earth by the thousands. And to say that immigration was never like this is like, man, this disingenuous shit. Because people trying to shape narratives have to stop, man. We have to be honest about these situations. all around.
This is the Migrant Express.
Don't get the
Hundreds of illegals on a freight train heading right for the border. They call this train the Beast. The illegals strap on their native flags to the train as it cuts through the Mexican desert. But they're not just coming here by train. Biden's letting illegals fly into the country also. Remember Biden's broken app illegals used to cross the border on foot?
Yeah.
Now they can use it while they're in the air. Biden let 200,000 illegals fly into American airports from Venezuela, Haiti, Cuba, and Nicaragua. They can just check in on the app from the sky.
Literally.
These are secret flights. We wouldn't know about it if it wasn't for a FOIA. And we still don't know where they landed. But at this rate, every big city and small town will get the New York treatment. Complete transformation to appease the illegals and their protectors. A black market economy run by giant corporations hiring illegals to deliver their food, work the factories, and pick the crops.
Oh no, it's worse than that. The black market shit that they're really doing is that they are selling a lot of those people. They are killing a lot of those people for their blood, literally, and organs. That's what's going on. They are sold for experimentation. That's why all of this shit is happening. It's not just so they can come here and work in the restaurant. Like, that's what I'm saying. This disingenuous shit. No, the black market. Why is the black market bigger than the internet? What's this main commodity that gets sold on the black market? You guys can look it up. It's humans. It's people. Right next to that is drugs. And you would think drugs is first. No, it's fucking people. That's what, man, I need y'all to get it.
And the CIA is in it as well.
This shit.
What we're going to do, number one, we'll have a lot of cash,
come to a
but
head,
that doesn't mean he
too
can
many
take
people
it.
Still delusional.
I mean, you know what he did? I think he looked at my cash and he said, well, we'll take all of his cash. This is all coming out of the White House. This is all, everything that you see, whether it's that one or the DA. You know, in the DA's office, in Bragg's office, he has his top people from the DOJ working in the district attorney's office in New York. Nobody knows that. Everything is coming out. This is all election interference. They're trying to damage me so they can win another election.
If I rear end your car and crease your bumper, I'm happy to jump out and say, I'm sorry, I can't believe I did that. But if I were to say invade under false pretenses and a million people and spend $1 trillion of your dollars doing it, I wouldn't say a word. I would never admit that was a bad idea. I couldn't. It implicates me too profoundly. The same goes for if I say, locked your kids inside for a year and their brains and prevent them from getting an education. Or if I say, forced you to take a vac that didn't work that very well might have hurt you.
Killed you.
I could never admit that I did that. I just couldn't. Because if I admitted it, I'd have to suffer the consequences.
Death. Right.
Something very much like that is happening with the which has been in progress now for almost 2 years. We were told at the beginning that our
the blood
support would
clots
allow
that people getting, there's not fucking blood clots that look like a fucking symbiote growing in everybody's veins who have got it. Yeah, this was a mass genocide. Dr. Fauci's there and they're finna go to jail for the rest of his life if you guys haven't heard about all that shit that's going on.
Russia and keep Russia from invading the rest of Europe or something. Well, almost 2 years in, none of that has turned out to be true. It's not going to beat Russia. The only person who's been beaten in this is the United States.
To get back in office.
The U.S. is weaker, measurably weaker because of our support in this. That's just true. The verdict is in. And honest, rational people admit that, no matter what their previous position. But the Biden administration cannot admit that, and neither can the U.S. Congress. And so now there is, believe it or not, an effort in progress to get the U.S. government to send another $60-odd billion to the oligarchs in. So another generation of men, this one probably in their 50s, can in a pointless on. They're not going to win, but the U.S. Congress would like to keep this conflict going anyway.
This is not something you should import from America. Please don't import the woke mind virus. It's bad. So essentially that, to summarize maybe the woke mind virus, it consists of creating very divisive identity politics. So it actually amplifies, woke virus, mind virus, in my view, amplifies racism, amplifies, frankly, and all the isms. And while claiming to do the opposite, it actually divides people and makes them hate each other, and it makes people hate themselves.
They are trying to brainwash us to be against each other. What does WWD mean? Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. But what does WWD mean? What we doing? We watching. They was first talking about the assassin that tried to you know what I'm saying, assassinate Trump, but they got to going down a whole line of shit that I feel like people need to know too. So you know what I'm saying, make sure you paying attention, put your thinking cap on.
And it's also anti-meritocratic. It's not
make sure you guys go to YouTube too. This is gonna be on YouTube
based on how hard they work and the talents, not who they are, whether they're man, woman, what race or gender.
KingMarcell.
That stuff is all creating, it's an artificial mental civil that is created, and it's not, and let me tell you, it's no fun. Okay, it is like woke mind virus and fun are incompatible. There's no fun in that, no joy. Woke mind virus is all about condemning people instead of celebrating people. Like when in the woke, it just doesn't celebrate. It's all about condemning and being divisive and being just
arguing.
I think it's just evil, right?
Being mad.
We have
at
a
each
border
other
that
for
works
nothing.
less than breath mints. Inflation more stubborn than a mule trying to learn breakdancing. And a wave that makes the purge look like Bible study with Shannon Bream. So by what metric does Team Biden think all of this is working? What the White House calls their major policy initiatives, the rest of us call ideas going over like a full diaper on a packed flight. They're peeing on your foot and telling you it's raining, which is why I stopped showering with Kudlow. Yeah, does anyone see evidence of a course correction? A willingness to maybe switch it up a bit? Nope. But we're at a point that we have to ask ourselves, are all these outcomes by design?
Exactly.
Now, I'm no conspiracy theorist, although I'm this close to proving Bigfoot was on Epstein's island. But clearly, when something isn't working and a group of theoretically intelligent people happily double down on it, there must be an explanation. And we have a few. One is the idea of fractal wrongness, the idea that your worldview is so wrong that you'll be wrong 100% of the time.
Literally.
This helps explain how people think letting out of jail will somehow make us safer.
So that's kind of more diabolical than what we've seen in previous generations, and it's
like
much more effective in a comedically polite country like Canada.
That's what it seems
because
like.
you don't know that it's happening. And because a demagogue like that, or your completely bizarre, cross-dressing prime minister, it's true. Prime Minister blackface. I didn't wear blackface. He did.
Like literally.
He 3 times. Thank you. 3 times, and I want to thank you for your commitment to the facts. The prime minister, right? The prime minister.
My friends laughed when I said I was going to start selling things on Amazon, but a few years later, look where I am living. And this is all thanks to selling
Society has
ebooks.
literally broken down so much, man. So much degeneracy.
Rights, which is an on you and your children, is cloaked in the language of therapy, self-help, and compassion. You're doing this for the common good. Don't you care about the elderly? And of course, being a decent person, you care very deeply about the elderly and the weakest in your society, of course. So what you don't realize is you shuffle off to abandon another God-given right to a totalitarian government is that this is not being done on behalf of a marginalized group or the weakest among us or the elderly. They hijack the language of the gospel
Yeah.
to crush the gospel.
For wickedness.
That's exactly what they're doing.
Literally. The devil knows the Bible too.
And we're going to have inexpensive energy. That's going to help us get rid of this horrible inflation. You know, he really had 38% inflation. If you look at it over his term, it's 38%. Anybody that made anything, it doesn't matter because the inflation was greater than whatever they made. We're going to get prices down. We're going to bring this country back.
Because how are you supposed to make a profit? You can't make a profit. I don't know if you guys ever seen the movie American Gangster, but you remember when the guy was trying to get Denzel Washington character to pay him 20%? He nigga, if I give you 20%, that's all my motherfucking profit. We are 38% in inflation. I don't think y'all understanding the math. I don't think y'all understand our profits that we are supposed to get. We're not getting it. We're not able to save as much. We're not able to do as much because we have to scrape, especially us at the bottom, because our profit margin, our 20%, we don't get. We are 18% over that we have to give. Why are they doing this? It's because they feel like too many people under Trump were starting to become successful. We're starting to grow businesses and start businesses and claiming land. They have to stop that. They don't want the playing field to get leveled, even though they are billions and trillions of dollars ahead of us. Damn near zillions of dollars ahead of us. But what it is that they afraid that we all gonna start being successful and then we gonna band together. That's what will close that gap. And that's what they afraid of.
Make America great again, greater than ever before.
But we gotta be willing to do it. And
People who are trying
away
to
our
your
differences.
children are not your friend. They're your sworn enemy. Is there
Literally.
another way to interpret that? Am I being crazy? I don't think that I am. And in less developed countries, this would be very obvious.
Literally.
Go try that in Burkina Faso. I'm serious. Show up in Ouagadougou next week with a briefcase full of. I'm going to pass this out to the neighborhood kids, but I'm not going to tell the parents. Those would be your last words. You would be ripped apart. You're coming to kill my children? No.
Literally.
They don't even have electricity in parts of Burkina Faso, but they have a gut level sense that your primary duty on this earth is to protect your children.
Cheated on the election.
Your children.
But you have people that are very smart, but they're fascists and they're radical left lunatics and they're destroying our country.
So big picture, the rest of us for decades now have been bullied into allowing the dumbest and most corrupt among us to run everything.
The truth is that they weren't aware of what was going on.
Trump's words resonate with urgency as he condemns the unraveling state of the nation, warning that the very foundation of our country is under threat of destruction.
It's about our system and whether we should allow a small number of partisans to burn it to the ground for the sake of winning a presidential election.
An American car going to China, think of that, pays 25% import duty. So we send our car over there, pay 25%. They send their car over here, 2.5%. 10 points, that's from Elon, but everybody knows it. They've known it for years, they never did anything about it. It's got to change.
Trump's allegations of corruption loom large as he denounces the potential seizure of NYC properties, decrying the actions of a nefarious group of individuals.
You can have a system that nobody actually supports except the people directly benefiting from it. This is the main thing I've learned in the past 5 years that I'm 54, I've lived in this country my whole life. And because I, unlike everyone else in Washington, actually kind of believed in the basic premise of democracy, which is the majority rules, that's the most basic fact of democracy.
It's
the
crazy
people
they
run their own
trying to,
government.
they cutting my feed on YouTube. Y'all should be good. Y'all gonna be able to see it straight with no error. But right now, currently, I'm streaming right now on Twitch. But for some reason, since I'm playing this video, they are trying to like disconnect my stream. And literally, as I got to saying that, they just cut it completely. It's despicable the lengths that are being done to like hide the fact of what's going on. Like seriously. I just don't get it, man. It's never that deep. It's never that deep.
So then basically
they wildin'. That's just sick.
Now, what to do about it?
Y'all peeping that shit. If y'all still here, man, make sure y'all hit that
the one
follow
banging
button.
drum the hardest by
They
far
don't
the
want us
longest.
talking about shit like this
or
to
at least
each other,
one of the
man.
longest for AI danger and these regulatory things that are happening. The single biggest reason they're happening
Now
is
I
because
gotta
of
do
me.
extra editing on
The
this
Fox
video to
presenter
make it
sheds
back
light on
straight.
the
This shit
divisive
weak as
narrative
hell.
that vilifies the founding fathers, casting blame on white men and sowing seeds of discord among new immigrants.
Well, the problem, Brian, is that the original allegations are really fading away because more serious problems are now mounting. You know, if they committed perjury, if they filed false statements in court, they could face personal charges. They could be referred to the bar. I mean, the stakes are very high
When is it
here.
gonna be considered as treason? That's what I want to know.
Amazon paid for all of this.
Because a lot of this shit,
crazy
it seems
loophole
like it's
that
heavy
anybody can
treason
discover
going
on
on
Amazon.
against the people of this nation, for real.
Do you have a preference in, assuming you're the Republican nominee,
And
and
treason
all
is
goes
supposed
as
to
you
be
plan it to go,
punishable by
do you have a
death.
preference in who you run against?
What are we
In
talking
many ways,
about
I'd
for
love to
real?
run against him because his record's so bad. You know, it's still horrible when you look at inflation and everything else, but others also have very bad records. I mean, California's a bad record, so, you know, should it be Gavin or should it be somebody else? When I look at San Francisco, what's happened to that incredible city? That was one of the greatest cities in the world just a short while ago, and now it's very sad when you look at it, Los Angeles. Every city, practically, all the Democrat-run cities. You know, Republican-run cities are doing very nicely because they arrest people when you have, and they don't go after political candidates because they think it's good. You know, I mean, it's like been amazing. My poll numbers are the highest I've ever had. But because people understand it.
Can I just ask you, that gets back to my original question. So if the protest didn't work, you got elected anyway. Yeah. Impeachment didn't work twice, obviously. Indictment is not working. Your poll numbers go up. When they raided Mar-a-Lago in August of last year, your numbers went up.
Literally,
they can indict you 20 times, and you're not gonna lose the Republican primary because of that.
Well,
so,
it makes it look even more ridiculous. I mean,
exactly. They just did all of that to this man.
I don't know. These people are crazy.
But they're counterproductive. So if you chart it out, it's an escalation, is what I'm saying. Yeah. So what's next? After, try to put you in prison for the rest of your life, that's not working. So, like, don't they have to kill you now?
I think the people of our country don't get enough credit for how smart they are. And I'm not sure I would have said this 10 years ago, but they get it. You know, they really get it. When somebody gets indicted, your poll numbers go down. When somebody gets indicted, you announce, ladies and gentlemen, I'll be leaving to spend time with my family and to fight for the rest of my life for this stuff.
So if you have a system that calls itself democratic, where the people with power prevent the population from choosing certain people to lead them, then you have, by definition, a system that is not a democracy. Again, by definition, we don't need to debate that. This is not something that we have encountered in the course of American history until this election cycle, when you have the frontrunner on the Republican side, in fact, the frontrunner overall, the man who, all things being equal, will be the next president, Donald Trump, invalidated from running for office in certain states. And that's the product of a longstanding effort by permanent Washington to prevent him from running and prevent voters from voting for him. And they're doing that through the courts, as they so often do. Donald Trump is now fighting nearly 100 charges across the United States, for which, if convicted, he would spend the rest of his life in prison. Now, the first thing to know about these charges is they're not what you were promised. You were told for 4 years that Donald Trump was a world historic. And you might have sort of started to suspect that maybe there was some truth in that. Maybe he killed a building inspector in New Jersey in 1975, and the remains would be discovered in the Meadowlands, and you like Trump, but you'd have to admit, yeah, he's kind of... But that's not at all what happened. The 100 charges that Donald Trump faces right now are, with no exception at all, ridiculous. They're picayune, piddling, minor, or they're just absurd and completely made up.
It's just to bring up doubt to the people.
AI regulatory agency.
The media is being used for that.
A team that gathers insight to get a maximum understanding. Then you have some proposed rulemaking, and then eventually you have regulations that are put in place. And this is something we have for everything that is a potential danger to the public.
So I think, in my view, AI is more dangerous than and we regulate. You can't just go make in your backyard.
There's a fact we can't even fucking talk.
I think we should have some kind of regulation with AI.
But there's a lot of other things on the table, and FARA is the most immediate. As you recall, John, when this plea bargain came down, the first reaction that some of us had was, where's FARA? I mean, the Hunter Biden's role as a foreign agent is all over these emails. I don't even understand why there's an ongoing investigation. With Paul Manafort, they had him at hello. You know, when he came in, they said, here's your FARA charge. With Hunter Biden, the Department of Justice is still noodling on this, which leaves a lot of us confused.
It's because his daddy's the president.
Now you're going to have some rather interesting times ahead. He doesn't have protection on the tax issues. He just pled not guilty. And Congress is moving ahead with a potential impeachment inquiry.
We go through the Panama Canal, we built it, and we gave it away for $1. Think of that, how stupid are we? We have done the stupidest things in this country. And now we have a president that can't put two sentences together, can't speak, can't walk, can't talk. I don't think he gets to the starting gate, but these people do miracles. I mean, he ran out of his basement, and you got away with that one because, so he sort of got away with it, with the all-electric cars and the windmills all over the place, which, by the way, don't work, and they're all, most of them made in China. For the most part, they're made in China. Germany a little bit, but China. But you look at what's happening to our country, even no voter ID. I mean, why don't they want voter ID? There's only one reason they don't want voter ID, because they want to cheat. I mean, who doesn't want, you know, the Democrat convention, the last one, they had voter ID that was this big. It looked like a prison card, this big on their chest. You walked in, they had your picture, your this, your fingerprint, they had everything. The most incredible voter ID I've ever seen. That was to get into the Democrat National Convention. But to get in to vote, If you buy groceries, if you buy practically anything now, you have ID on a card, credit cards or otherwise. And
like literally, it's just getting outrageous. It's getting totally crazy out here to the point that literally, I don't even know how they was able to stop my recording. They stopped the recording itself. Not just my stream, my actual recording that I'm doing from the fucking computer. They don't want us talking to each other, but this channel is going to be one of those channels that's bringing us together. And I pray that I'm helping you guys understand the deeper, shit that's going on, because this shit is getting very disturbing, very creepy, very scary. And again, I just pray you guys are keeping a cool head. Don't be manipulated into doing these people's bidding. It all can be resolved if we keep a peace of mind and we communicate with each other and we let God lead us. We will be totally fine. Make sure you guys like this video, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so that you're notified whenever I do drop a video here. We're on the road to 100 subscribers. We almost there, so make sure you guys are hitting that subscribe button so that we can hit our next goal, which is going to be 500 subscribers. But with that being said, KingMarcell out. Peace.
When the pain grows, anything goes. Devil is a lie, looking for the prize. That's eternal life. Bringing the things in my mind, talking real peace of mind. That's something money can't.